Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to another video. So today I wanted to talk about a fairly new mod for Stalker Anomaly called Old World Addon. This mod was just released publicly earlier this month, and there's been a lot of talk about it over on r/Stalker and various Stalker discords, so I just wanted to give my thoughts and opinions on it and do a little review. Let's get into it. So right off the bat I want to ask the question, who is this mod for? If you don't already know, Old World is basically a complete overhaul of Anomaly's game mechanics, weapons, visuals, and sound effects that intend to make the gameplay as close as possible to what the original Stalker trilogy had to offer. You still have all the levels and the story present in Anomaly, but things like the crafting and repair system are gone or simplified, the economy is much more simple, and it has an overall easier progression system. Less items, faster player movement, cheaper gear, and better quest rewards in a lot of cases. No more will you be sent halfway across the zone to get one rookie stalker back to the village, only to receive little money and a stash location as a reward. Now, a lot of the quests feel much more rewarding. This all sounds great in theory, until you realize that most other add-ons are incompatible with it, so that what you see is basically what you get. And more so, the weapons sandbox is extremely limited due to Old World only including weapons from the original games. If you've never played the old Stalker games, let me tell you, the weapons don't function like they do in Anomaly and a lot of other mods. For starters, everything is far less accurate with a sort of random recoil pattern that will have you spewing bullets all over the place. On top of this, armor for both player character and the NPCs is much better at blocking bullets. Expect to burn through a lot of ammo. As I mentioned before, the mod does compensate this for having an overall easier progression system, with ammo no longer costing thousands of rubles for just a few rounds. Medkits are cheaper too, but you don't get any of the fancy stuff from Anomaly, just 3 basic medkits, bandages, and a couple of different drugs to help you slow bleeding, survive emissions, or block side effects. But nothing crazy like stim packs and all the other crafting ingredients, things like that. If any of this is putting you off, then that brings me back to the question that I presented in the beginning of the video, which is who is this mod for? I would say if you're someone who's never played the original Stalker titles, then Old World isn't for you. I've seen a lot of people criticizing it, basically saying it just feels like Anomaly Light, but I don't think that's an accurate description. A better way to describe the Old World add-on is the Call of Pripyat we deserved, but never got. If you're unaware, the original Call of Pripyat game only had 3 main areas if you aren't counting the underground levels. It had Zaton, Jupiter, and the Pripyat outskirts, which in the original release was just called Pripyat. A lot of people at the time were upset about this, as it launched as a full-priced game, but really only had enough content to be a large DLC. Now, I'm not saying Call of Pripyat's a bad game. In fact, I think it has some of the most interesting quests in the series, but the game just lacked content in a lot of people's opinion. Even I, when I first played it, getting it years after its initial release, was a bit disappointed to see that it only had 3 main levels. Old World Add-on remedies that by adding the entire zone from the official games, as well as the areas from Vanilla Anomaly, which, if you don't know, some of were originally supposed to be in the first game, but then were cut and then restored in a mod called Call of Chernobyl, which is what Anomaly is based off of in the first place. If you haven't played the original Stalker trilogy, then I highly do recommend it. It's a different experience than Anomaly, with far better quests in my opinion, and it'll help you get an idea of why mods like Old World exist. But, back on topic, like I said, the mod feels like an expansion of Call of Pripyat where you can explore the whole zone to your heart's content, but it is by no means a military or survival simulator like, say, Stalker Gamma or Escape from Pripyat. If you're looking for that kind of thing, then Old World probably isn't for you. It's more for the people who want to return to the roots of the classic games. I find it quite fun to go back and play with the original guns, but the best part of me is the gameplay overhauls. Personally, I've always felt that Anomaly and Gamma feel far too grindy and complicated. Add to that I feel like they always offer some sort of fake realism that just doesn't feel right to me, and the game tries too hard to be a simulator rather than a fun game. Personal gripes aside, as I said, Old World Add-on is fun to play for a little bit, but I do start to get bored with it rather quickly as Call of Pripyat came out 10 years ago, over 10 years ago, and its mechanics and weapons are quite dated. And while I do like the fact that Old World is a simplified experience of Anomaly, in my opinion, it's a bit too simplified. Like I said, 10-year dated mechanics. It doesn't go well in 2022. Now, this is just my opinion on how to improve it. I understand what the mod set out to do, and to that end, it does it almost perfectly, save for a few issues here or there, one odd one being that for some reason it seems like with Old World installed, your weapon gets shot out of your hand way too often. I had a case of this earlier today where it happened twice in one firefight, and I'm not sure why this is, because I don't remember it being that common in any of the 3 vanilla games. Then there's an issue where the scopes on one of the weapons is off, and when you attempt to use it, it doesn't zoom in properly. It kind of blocks your vision for a second or two. But as far as I can tell, that's only with one weapon, and it's only for a few seconds. So other than that, I would say it's a cool, well-functioning mod, and if you want Call of Pripyat Plus, then I highly recommend it. So, like I said, that's the mod itself, but before I wrap up, I just wanted to give my own ideas on how to improve it. There could be some additional options, and I think it would just be a better experience, a sort of good in-between between vanilla Stalker and maybe Stalker Gamma or Stalker Anomaly. I think that Old World would greatly benefit from more weapons with better mechanics. I remember back in the day there was a mod called Arsenal Overhaul 3, which basically gave all the guns better models, sound effects, and animations while also adding loads of new ones. Gave you some variety. On top of this, it made the weapons more accurate and upped the damage ever so slightly so that the zone felt just a bit more lethal than the vanilla games, but not quite as one-shot and across the map like Anomaly can sometimes feel. Also, I would really recommend for immersion's sake having some kind of item soup mod. Again, I wouldn't want it to be nearly as complicated as vanilla Anomaly or Gamma, but it would be nice to see some more food items other than bread and sausage. Maybe give us canteens, different types of alcohol, maybe a canned corn or whatever. I also wouldn't be opposed to seeing stim packs, but to a more limited degree to what we have in Anomaly. We don't have to be as in-depth. We could just give us like an emergency stim item that maybe restores 25% of health instantly or over like a second or two. But as I mentioned before, my biggest thing has to be the weapons. We need more weapon variety to make this mod more fun, at least in my opinion. More quests would be cool too, as anomalies can get very repetitive and boring with its random objectives, but that's more of an Anomaly thing and not strictly related to Old World. Now, I understand all these things might be hard to add and that they're not what Old World actually set out to do, but like I said before, they're just suggestions on how to make it a little bit more enjoyable. But anyways, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like on it. That helps the channel out a lot. Go give Old World a try if you think that's your cup of tea. If you might be interested in it, like I said, it does do the job well of kind of bringing it back to the old classic Stalker experience. It does a great job, and if that's what you're looking for, this mod is perfect for you. As always, have a great day, and stay safe. Get out of here, Stalker.